Recording live from the Northeast Georgia Business RadioX studio. This is Northeast Georgia Business Radio. Welcome back, folks. Welcome back to Northeast Georgia Business Radio. I'm your host, Tom Sheldon, and we're coming to you live from the beautiful Empower College and Career Center of Jackson County. Big shout out to my good buddy, Mr. Mike Salmond. He is actually in studio today doing that. Thank you, Mike. It's good to see you. It's been a while. And folks, forgive me because I'm coming off of a little bit of a vacation, a little bit of a anniversary week, so I'm a little rusty. Hopefully my guest will forgive me for the rustiness. But with me today, Brianna Cole with the Treehouse Incorporated. Bree, I can call you Bree, can't I?
Please.
I can call her Bree. Bree, welcome to the Northeast Studio. How are you?
I am wonderful. Thank you guys for having me today. It's a pleasure.
I'm excited to have you in.
Yes, it's going to be great.
Executive Director.
Yes.
That's an impressive title, young lady.
It is. It is something I'm incredibly proud of. And
you should be.
I feel it came at a perfect time in my life. And
nice, even better.
It's a joy, yes.
I guess you're old enough now to appreciate her. Some I don't know, some sappy something. I don't know.
Absolutely. I agree.
I'm putting words in your mouth.
I love it.
Don't let me do that. Okay, the Treehouse Incorporated. It's in Winder.
Correct.
Barrow County, right down the road.
Correct.
What is it?
Sure.
What do y'all do?
So the Treehouse Inc. is a nonprofit organization. We are located in Winder, Georgia, but we also have another location in Commerce. The Treehouse is a nonprofit organization. What we do is our main mission is to reduce child abuse, the impact and occurrence of child abuse. Through counseling, we do education as well, and support and nurturing children and families in Northeast Georgia. We were predominantly in Barrow, Banks, and Jackson. But that has since been expanded to Northeast Georgia, which is exciting. More children, more impact, more families to serve.
That.
Yes, that's great.
Awesome.
Yes.
That's good.
Yes.
That's good. A little bit of child advocacy, more or less.
Absolutely. Correct.
Much needed, question mark?
Yes, much needed.
I bet.
Much needed.
I bet it did. So when did all this come about? It's been around a little while.
It has. So in 1996, the Treehouse was founded by some community partners. They came together with an idea that this was a need in our community. And there weren't many other child advocacy centers in the area. So they came together and started in 96. We had a teeny tiny little building behind the post office in Winder.
Oh, wow.
It was a little house, actually.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
So it was very small. And that's where the CAC started, where the Treehouse started. Our name came about. There was a competition in the county around what the name should be. So that's kind of how that came about. The Treehouse Inc. was the winning name. And it started small, to be honest, but it has bloomed over the years through immense community partnerships and the desire to really help children and families in our community.
I guess when you say it started small, you figuratively and literally.
That is correct. Our current building, which our main office is in Winder, that one was purchased in 2012. So we've been in that building since then, and it's really just expanded. We have our satellite location in Commerce as well.
I didn't know that.
Yes, and that's been a huge help. You know, we have,
I bet.
It opens up a location in an area where there is a great need, and there are a lot of rural communities in Northeast Georgia that needed a location that was closer for them. So Commerce has been a great addition to the Treehouse.
Nice. It sounds like it.
It's been wonderful.
So how does this come about? A child, sure. It's not necessarily easy to know if there's a child in need.
Correct.
How do we get to that point of helping actually physically, literally helping the children?
Sure. Education is number one. The Treehouse offers some great resources to our community. How you, as whether it be a parent, a neighbor, a teacher, someone who works in a church, it's important to note here that you do not have to have confirmation that a child is being abused to help that child. So even if there's an idea that there is abuse occurring, making sure that we're following the right channels. So if you are that person, if you're listening and you believe you've seen something of that nature, you would want to contact your local law enforcement agency or DFACS. That's number one. And you can remain anonymous. That's important to know as well, that you can make these reports and know that you're making a difference, but also being anonymous on your own. That can happen as well.
So when you say you're educating the community.
Sure. So
the adults around.
That is correct.
Okay.
The Treehouse, we have some really important partners that we work with. Obviously, we work closely with law enforcement and DFACS. We also have a very close relationship with our school system. So there are education that's happening monthly with school systems, DFACS, and law enforcement, DA's office as well. We will have counselors or therapists that will go out to the school and educate our social workers on the signs of child abuse and what the correct protocol is to ensure that we're giving the child the best care.
I imagine teachers and school counselors are the first line of, I don't know, detection. I don't know what word to use there.
A lot of times, yes. I mean,
they're around the kids sometimes more than the parents are.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, and sometimes too, there's children, if you can really think back to when you were in school, possibly, I know that I can, some of my most influential people in my life at that time were in the school system.
Sure.
And it's important, like I said, if there's anything noticed, like I said, with the education we give, they are fully aware of what the protocol looks like and they follow through, and that relationship is very important for our kids, for sure.
So you actually provide some resources for the school system.
Absolutely. Yes.
You said you work with them, obviously.
Yes. Very closely. Just to kind of, I don't know if you want to know an idea of how this happens. Perfect.
I do. I definitely do. That's why I got you here.
So, yeah. So,
because I 20 odd minutes ago, I didn't know what Treehouse was.
Sure.
Child advocacy, that's all I knew.
Yep.
Which can mean anything.
Anything. Yes. So we have some different programs that we offer at the Treehouse. One of them is going to be our forensic services. So just to give you an idea, if a child discloses abuse or there is a possibility of abuse and that report is made to then DFACS or law enforcement, they will then contact the Treehouse. And what happens is the child is going to come to the Treehouse. They're going to meet one of our professional forensic interviewers and sit down with them and have a conversation.
I'm sorry to cut you off.
No,
It happens right there on site.
It sure does. Yep. So we do these forensic interviews at both locations.
How does the child get there?
So whether it be a parent or a caregiver, whoever brings them there. So it's an appointment set up through the family. Yes.
I got you.
So the child will come. They will go into a room. Everything is child-led. That's important to know as well.
What does that mean?
So our interviewers allow the child to tell their story. They don't ask questions that would put something into their mind.
I got
if that
you.
Makes sense.
Child-led.
Correct.
I got you. Yep. Instead of being led by the interviewer.
Correct.
I got you.
Correct.
Someone skilled at that can get anyone to say anything they want.
Correct. So there's a training that they continuously receive on new ways to interview, what are new best practices, etc.
That's part of the education.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yep. Child comes in, they have the interview. When the interview is being done, we're very transparent with the child. They know that there are people listening. They know that there are people watching, and those people are going to be law enforcement, sometimes DFACS as well, are going to be listening to that information. One thing to keep in mind, too, is part of a child advocacy center, which is the umbrella that we're under. Mm-hmm. The whole idea of a CAC is that when a child discloses abuse, that they don't have to tell their story over and over and over again. Right. So yes, there is a possibility after, if there is a prosecution that happens, that they would have to tell their story again. But the idea is that they come to one safe place, they tell their story one time, and then investigators in the DA's office can review that footage, and the child doesn't have to keep being asked these questions and reliving that trauma. We perform those interviews, and then of course that information is going to go to the appropriate partners.
I got you.
Now, something to keep in mind too, we don't just interview children and then say goodbye. We have an advocate that works in the office. That advocate is going to meet with the parent or the caregiver before the interview, kind of let them know what's going to take place. These are some resources for you. We know that when child abuse occurs, it does not just affect the child. While the child has arguably the heaviest trauma, it affects the family as a whole. So at the Treehouse, we offer resources to the family and caregivers to make sure that the family unit is taken care of as well as the child. So we have licensed therapists that work within the Treehouse that are going to offer that trauma-based counseling to those children, and also offer resources to the family as well.
Do you ever get pushback from the parents?
Sure. If
I could see that going sideways.
It can.
With the wrong person.
It can. And I think that we're really blessed to have a team that understands, and this is something that I like to remind them as well, is this parent may be hearing this for the first time. It may be someone that they're close to. It may be a family member. It may be another parent. It may be another sibling. I mean, there's so many things that could affect
Someone
them
the child comes in contact with outside of the house, possibly.
Absolutely. And it is important to also note that it's around 90%, I believe, of child abuse actually happens by someone that the child knows or is very close to the family.
I so believe that, yeah.
Right. So when these parents are coming in, number one, they're hearing that something has happened to their child, which is horrific. And then are they just expected to leave and know what to do? Absolutely not.
I was about to say, that must be a traumatic moment for the parents.
It is.
Overwhelming.
And also, too, it's hard for parents, and I put myself in their position often. If I were the one sitting in that chair, I would want to know exactly what's going to happen next. And we make sure that we're there with them in every step of the way.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
So sorry.
No, you're good. No, this is good. This is good. I'm enjoying this.
Good. I'm so glad. This can be, I talk often about how child abuse is a taboo topic. We've created this idea that it's something that either shouldn't be talked about or should be talked about only with certain people. And the reality is I really hope that at the Treehouse and part of my personal work is to take the taboo out of this and allow us all to really realize that we are all advocates for ourselves and we're advocates for our kids as well. Right. Yeah.
I don't want to go into detail, but what are the teachers, the counselors, the trained people?
Sure.
Lack of a better term, sorry. I don't want to go into detail.
Of course.
But what are they looking for? Withdrawal?
Can be. If you have a child
from the children.
Absolutely. If you know that let's say we have a personality change that happens very quickly, you have your obvious signs. And I say obvious signs, but, physical abuse, that's something that typically teachers can see. But when it comes to other things, how do we know this is going on? It can be withdrawal from activities that they've loved to do before. But it can also be children that are coming home or coming to school with lots of gifts or things of that nature. This is something for parents to think about. If you have a kid that all of a sudden is coming home with things that you didn't buy them.
Oh, I got you. Okay.
Asking maybe where that came from.
Where'd that come from?
Where did that come from? Or someone paying closer attention to your child that maybe they do other children. That as well is important to note. I think that it's hard for us to realize as a society that this does come from in the home or from someone we're very close to. Yeah. It's a lot more rare for it to be a stranger that is actually hurting the child. It's typically someone close. I know that's hard to recognize, but we have to take note of that and also talk to our kids. I think sometimes parents and caregivers and even myself, I've really learned through this that there's really nothing that we can't talk to our kids about in an age appropriate way. Right.
Okay, I'm with you.
Yeah. For teachers and administrators or whoever it may be, they're highly trained in this, but it really is about noticing those differences in personality. I think that's a big one. Just withdrawal is huge, and we see that a lot.
I imagine so. You talked about community partners. We're going to talk about community partners here in a second, about your community partners.
Perfect.
But now, Northeast Georgia Business RadioX, we are very fortunate to have some of our community partners. One of our community partners is Busy Bee Exterminators. Now, Busy Bee is a leading termite and pest control company that has been serving Georgia since 1972, longer than I've been alive. Family-owned and locally operated, Busy Bee is proud of its solid reputation and most extensive guarantees available in the industry. They offer free inspections and evaluations to all potential customers, both residential and commercial. Visit busybeeexterminators.com for all the details. That's busy, B-E-E, exterminators.com. And while you're at it, visit our new website, negabrx.com, to see all our great community partners. Bree, you still there?
I'm here.
I got bills to pay.
Don't we all?
Community partners are super, super important. You have them as well at Treehouse.
Yes, we do.
Talk to me about that.
We could not do what we do without our community. We have partners that we work directly with, but we also have other businesses and people in the community that that are just game changers when it comes to our organization. If we didn't have them, we wouldn't exist. From what some people may see as the small things that mean a lot to us, but some things that are huge as well. I think it's important. We have a lot of people who so desperately want to help us. How can we help the Treehouse? What can we do? And it could be as simple as our staff. My staff, I love them. I'll try to get emotional about my staff.
You can. We can only do so much editing. But.
They work so hard.
Awesome.
They have such deep, if you can imagine the things that they hear every single day and just remaining strong. Some folks will say, what can we do for your staff? It could be something as simple as self-care, bringing them a candle or lunch or a card, a shout out, a happy birthday, just to know that the community is there for them and backs them and appreciates how much they do, because really they're the only ones that can do it.
They got to get wore down over time.
Yes. It's part of this industry is notating that people can get burned out or not taking care of themselves the way they should. And it's not that they don't want to.
Well, they're getting around to it.
Absolutely. If the love that they have for what they do really can supersede sometimes what they need to do for themselves.
I so believe that.
Yeah.
So other than just bringing them donuts, though, how can... seriously, hey, some Krispy Kreme donuts or maybe some crumble cookies, just saying.
We never complain about food.
You would never turn down the crumble
Never
cookies.
turn down the crumble cookies.
They need to start paying me because I plug them in like every show. They're that good.
So
Sorry.
You're
how else do people get involved, though?
Sure. So we have some great events at the Treehouse as well.
You got one coming up, though, don't you?
We have one. I'm so excited. So we have our first annual Hope Fest that is happening on October the 21st.
Hope Fest. Nice.
Hope Fest. Yes. It is going to be from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. at the Innovation Center, Amphitheater, in Winder. We have a great cover band that's going to be playing live.
Nice. So this is going to be open air.
It is going to be open air. Music playing. We're going to have food trucks.
Of course.
And King of Pops.
Nice.
And
junk food, I hope.
Yep. Some breweries are going to be
Even
there
better.
as well.
Even better.
So what's exciting about this event, it is 21 and up. I do want to note that.
Sure.
This is going to be an adult themed event, but we do have tickets that are still for sale on our website. So if you go to thetreehouseinc.org, you can purchase a ticket there. Super exciting. General admission tickets are only $20. That's
really
amazing. But if you want to come in as a VIP member, those are with taxes a little bit over $80, but that comes with your admission to the event, as well as you can choose any meal that you would like and open bar. So
open bar. This is in Winder now.
This is in Winder.
This is in Barrow County.
This is in Barrow County.
Very close to Walton and Jackson and Athens.
Absolutely.
Open bar, you say?
It is. This is a no-brainer.
Have you lost your mind?
I don't think so.
It's a great deal for someone paying the ticket.
It's a great deal. I think open bar. And there was someone who was involved with the Treehouse for a long time who passed away last year. But she always said, it's for the children. If anybody said, I don't know if I have an extra $20 to spare a month to go to a nonprofit, she'd say, but it's for the children. Mm-hmm. So this is going to be a great event.
No, I think it's a terrific deal, $80 for...
Yeah. It's going to be great. It's going to be wonderful.
I don't doubt that for a second.
We're super excited about it. This is going to be just a wonderful event. Other than that event, which we really hope the community really shows up for us and shows up for our kids and families. But if there's something that, if you can't do that, if it's not an event that you're interested in, you can absolutely do a donation online as well. We have some where you can say, I'm going to pledge $20 a month. If you've gone to Starbucks today, or if you can do that, you can absolutely donate to an organization that you know are going to directly take care of our community and our kids.
$240, that's like one less Costco trip during the year.
Sure. It's fair.
I think so.
And it's really amazing what we can do with this money and how much impact we can have.
Where does that money go, Brie?
Sure. So it's going to go directly to the Treehouse, whether that be to providing counseling. It may be for a forensic interview, something I didn't touch base on earlier, but we offer in-home parenting classes as well.
Do you really?
We do. So if there is a family that has or have had an open DFACS case, we have a wonderful lady who will go into their home and educate them and say, what do you need help with? I think at the Treehouse, if your listeners do know who we are or just learning today,
they soon will.
It's not just about the immediate crisis. We're also looking to stop what may happen. So that educator will go into the home and say, what can I help you with? Because some of these families, it's not that they don't have the desire. They do. They just need something. So whether it be, do you need a ride to work? Do you need a car seat for your child? What do you need? We have provided, last year, we provided over $16,000 worth of transportation.
Wow.
There's a lot that's done that's maybe a little bit on the outside that people don't realize. Well, I mean, we have a staff member who has drove a family one time all the way to Augusta on a Saturday on her day off. It's really an incredible organization, and there's so many facets that go into it that I just want everyone to know about. We really do so much for our community.
So I got to ask, why are you,
yourself,
the executive director, why are you doing this?
I have been in this role since March of this year. So
Executive director.
But
you've been there a while.
I have. Before I came to the Treehouse, I was working in the banking industry for 10 years. I worked for the same bank for 10 years. I loved my staff. I loved the company I worked for. I knew I needed to do something more. That while I knew I was giving back to people through their finances, my heart was just desperately needing something different. I started doing a search, and the Treehouse is one of the first places that I looked into. I went up to the Treehouse and I had a conversation with one of their staff members, Miss Ida, who has been there 22 years. Shout out to her. As we were talking, she said, I really want you to meet somebody. So she brought the executive director at the time in, and we talked for like an hour and a half. And I just had a very deep conversation with her about how I just wanted to help. 6 months later, she reached out to me and told me she was leaving and said, is this something you'd be interested in? I'll be honest with you, I was so emotional over just the idea of someone believing that I would be the best fit for this. I think she saw my desire and my love for my community, but it's so incredibly personal to me. If I may share,
Please do.
Advocacy has been part of my life for a very, very long time. Even as a teenager, I was doing advocacy work. So it's something that's been close to me. But it took many, many years of my life to feel comfortable and honest enough with myself to express that I was a victim of child sexual assault. I'm doing this for the kids that don't have to grow up and be in my position and begin healing in my 30s. I desperately want these children to get the best level of care today and not have to spend years with the heaviness that I felt for so long. So doing this every day is 100% for them, but it is also 100% for little Bree.
I hear you.
Yeah.
I hear you. Thanks for sharing that.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
You're being the voice for little Bree and the voice for those who don't have one.
Absolutely.
I'm a big fan of that. Give the website some more.
Yeah, sure. So I would love for you guys to look at our website. It is www.thetreehouseinc.org, and you can also follow us on Facebook and Instagram as well.
Nice. And I take it the Treehouse Inc.?
Thetreehouseinc.org.
Facebook?
Yep. Facebook. Yep, that's correct.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Bree, what did we leave out?
I do want to say if we have people in the community that want to talk further or want to know how they can help in a different way, please reach out to me. My cell phone number is on my business cards. I am always available, and I just appreciate all of our partners. You've all been incredible, and this community has really shown up for us, and I hope we continue to do so. Make you proud.
I hear you. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you. It was great.
This was good.
Yeah.
I'm glad you came in.
Me too.
They're going to play my music. There it is. Bree, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Folks, thetreehouseinc.org. Check them out. Maybe throw a little support behind them. Being the voice for someone who doesn't have one, that can be so huge. Great episode. Hey, I'm Tom Sheldon. Talk to you soon.